All right, Chris. So with the most recent pick, we see Noah Spence, defensive end, being taken by the Buccaneers. What do you think about this pick?
Yeah, Noah Spence was once projected to be a mid-round for round one prospect. He used to be at Ohio State, but then was kicked off the team and ended up going to Eastern Kentucky and redshirting for a year. The reason for this was he had a lot of troubles with drugs, specifically Molly. It's not just your average marijuana case. But Spence is also very talented. He's well muscled and he has very good bend to get around the edge. He's explosive and is pretty good at the point of attack. And he also has a pretty good motor even with the off-field issues. Then the questions are there's no experience in coverage. He's a little bit of trouble with anticipation, and then as an end, he overruns the ball carrier, which can lead to it being kicked outside around the end. He's a great speed rusher, and without these off the field issues, his talent is still a mid round one prospect. So I think that the Buccaneers got a steal here, but it's also a high risk steal.
All right. So then with the very next pick, the Giants took Sterling Shepard, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. He's 5'10", 194 pounds. What do you think about this one, Chris?
So earlier in round one, the Giants selected Eli Apple, which I think was the worst pick of round one. They redeemed themselves here with taking Sterling Shepard. Shepard I had ranked above Will Fuller, who's the second wide receiver taken in the first round, and that's because of his great separation out of the break. He's a pretty good route runner, and he also is able to. He's not afraid of taking hits over the middle. I think he'll be a very successful slot receiver and a very reliable slot receiver. He only dropped 3% of his passes, that catchable passes to him. He also has a great work ethic and can change direction very well. His size is the one question mark for him, but obviously we've seen tons of receivers succeed in the NFL with only being 5'10" or 194 pounds.
Yeah, I think it could be interesting, though, with him going to the Giants, because obviously we've seen the Giants try to be very versatile with Odell Beckham playing in the slot and out wide. So having now a new slot option is kind of interesting for what they can do this year, and it'll kind of allow them to do even more with Odell Beckham. And then at 10, we had Reggie Ragland, inside linebacker out of Alabama. What do you think about this one for the Bills?
Well, Ragland was probably one of the more surprising draft falls of round one. I picked him to go to the Raiders, who had a need at middle linebacker, and Ragland's a very talented prospect. He is a hard-nosed middle linebacker, and he's kind of one of your old-fashioned, old-school linebackers. He's got good instincts. He's a pretty good athlete, and has pretty good mobility. He's not very experienced in coverage, and he's not your ideal athlete like your Jalen Smiths or your Miles Jacks. He struggled with wide receivers in zones, but he also has very good vision and is able to just really plug up the middle of the defensive line and offense now in New York.
I know.